I never thought I'd be one of those people posting here, but life has a funny way of humbling you. I've been married to Sophie for 7 years. We met in college. She was the loud, witty one who could make a whole room laugh, and I was the quiet guy who carried her coffee during exam season. We built a life that felt stable, warm, predictable in the best way. But lately, something's changed. The laughter she used to fill our kitchen with. Gone. These days, it's all short sighs and half smiles. She's busy, tired, stressed from work. I wanted to believe her. God, I did believe her, but my gut told me something wasn't right. It started small. She began leaving earlier, coming home later. Work dinners, team meetings, client outings. Always some vague excuse wrapped in corporate jargon. Then came the perfume, floral, expensive, the kind she'd never worn before. She claimed it was a gift from a client. When I asked which one, she just rolled her eyes and said, "Daniel, do you not trust me?" That line, "Do you not trust me?" became her favorite shield. And I kept letting it work. Because when you love someone, you want to believe their lies more than your own truth. But the signs started stacking up faster than I could explain them away. Her phone was always on silent. She took it everywhere, even to the bathroom. She'd smile at messages, then flip the screen down if I glanced her way. And when I finally asked if something was wrong, she snapped, "Not everything is about you." That one stung. It was like she'd flipped a switch. Suddenly, I wasn't her partner, just some inconvenience taking up space in her story. I tried to shrug it off, tried to convince myself I was being paranoid. But deep down, I knew. You always know, don't you? When the person who used to look at you with warmth now stares past you like you're a stranger at the bus stop. Still, I didn't want to accuse her without proof. I told myself, you'll know when you know. And then one night, I did. So here's where everything started to unravel. It was a random Tuesday evening. Sophie had left in a rush again, claiming she had a client dinner across town. I remember watching her heels click across the pavement, her perfume lingering in the hallway long after she shut the door. I wanted to believe her, God, I really did, but something in my chest twisted. A few hours later, I went out to her car to grab my sunglasses. She always left it unlocked in the driveway, and for some reason, I felt this strange urge to look around. Not snoop, just check. Maybe I was hoping to not find anything. But life doesn't hand you peace when you're looking for truth. While cleaning some receipts and napkins off the dashboard, I noticed something tucked into the visor. A folded piece of paper, still crisp. I opened it, hotel logo right at the top. Check-in time, 8:13 p.m. Room type, 1 suite. Number of guests, 2. My stomach dropped. I must have read it 10 times, hoping it would magically change. Maybe she booked it for work. Maybe a colleague. Maybe anything but what I already knew. The date was from last week, the same night she'd told me her boss had food poisoning and she'd been stuck late covering. I sat there in her driver's seat, the car quiet except for my heartbeat pounding in my ears. My hands were shaking so badly I almost tore the receipt. I didn't confront her. Not yet. Something in me needed to see it. To watch the lie unfold, to catch it in motion. So I slipped the paper into my pocket and told myself I'd wait. That Friday, she came home dressed up, too dressed up. Hair curled, lipstick red, that same damn perfume clinging to her like a confession. She kissed my cheek, smiled, and said, "Don't wait up, babe. It's a long one tonight." And I smiled back. Because I wasn't waiting. I was following. As her taillights disappeared down the street, I got in my car. Every turn she took, I took too. Through the rain, through the blur of city lights, until we pulled up, both of us, to the exact hotel on that receipt. She parked. Walked in. Smiled at the man waiting by the glass doors. The kind of smile she used to save for me. That's when I knew. I remember gripping the steering wheel so hard my knuckles went white. Rain poured across the windshield, blurring everything except one thing, Sophie, standing under the hotel's golden awning, looking alive. She wasn't checking her phone, or rushing inside like someone late for a meeting. No. She was waiting. And then he appeared. Tall guy, maybe mid-30s, dressed like he thought he was in a cologne ad. The second she saw him, her whole face changed, that soft, secret smile I hadn't seen in years. She reached out first. Their hands brushed, lingered. Then she tucked a strand of hair behind her ear like she used to do when she was nervous around me. My stomach turned. You think you'll explode when you catch your partner cheating, rage, screaming, something cinematic. But it's not like that. It's quiet. Cold. Like your soul steps out of your body just to watch the rest of you fall apart. I sat there in my car, headlights off, rain beating down like static. I watched them walk inside together, side by side, like they belonged there. I wanted to burst in, throw the receipt in her face, scream every question that had been clawing at my chest. Why him? Why lie? Why ruin everything? But instead, I stayed put. Because deep down, I already knew her answers would be lies, too. 2 hours passed before I drove home, headlights slicing through the storm, heart numb. When she walked through the door just past midnight, she didn't look guilty. She looked smug. Like she'd just pulled off a perfect crime. Rough night? I asked, trying to keep my voice steady. She smiled, kicked off her heels, and said, "You have no idea. I didn't sleep that night. I just lay there beside her, listening to her breathing, calm, steady, like someone who didn't even care what she'd done." That's when I decided, I wasn't going to ask her. I was going to show her what I knew. By Saturday morning, I'd rehearsed every word in my head. I didn't want a fight, I wanted truth. But you can't get honesty from someone who's built their whole new life on lies. Sophie came downstairs late, wearing one of my shirts like nothing was wrong. Hair still messy from sleep, humming as she poured her coffee, the same way she used to before all this. It was almost insulting. I placed the hotel receipt on the kitchen table. She froze mid-sip. "What's this?" she asked, tone sharp, defensive already. "You tell me," I said quietly. "Found it in your car." Her eyes flicked down, scanned the paper, then she laughed. Laughed. "Oh my God, Daniel. You're ridiculous. That's from a work retreat. 2 rooms, not 2 guests. It's a typo." "Funny," I replied, "because it says suite. Not 2 rooms. And you checked in at 8 p.m., the same night your boss had food poisoning." She set her mug down harder than she meant to. "You're paranoid again. This is why I don't tell you things, because you twist them. You never trust me." It was like being punched with déjà vu. Every lie she ever told came wrapped in those words, "You don't trust me." "Sophie," I said, voice breaking a little, "I saw you. At the hotel. I followed you." Her face changed instantly, the fake innocence melted away, replaced by something colder. "Wow. So you're spying on me now? That's cute. You think stalking your wife is a healthy relationship move?" That's when I realized, she wasn't even sorry. She wasn't scared. She was angry she got caught. "I trusted you," I whispered. She shrugged. "Then maybe you shouldn't have." No tears. No apology. Just venom. I walked out before I said something I couldn't take back. I needed air. Space. Something that didn't smell like her perfume and deceit. I sat in my car for hours, replaying every conversation, every late night, every team dinner. The puzzle pieces I'd been too blind to connect finally locked in place. And the picture they made, wasn't love. It was betrayal. When you finally see the truth, you can't unsee it. It's like realizing the person you've been sleeping next to isn't your partner, just a stranger wearing their face. After the confrontation, Sophie acted like nothing happened. No follow-up, no conversation. She made dinner that night, pasta, her comfort dish. Except I couldn't eat. The sound of her humming, the clink of her fork, the fake normalcy, it made my skin crawl. She looked up at me mid-bite and said, "You're seriously going to mope all night? Over nothing? Over nothing." That's when I knew she was gone, not physically, but emotionally. Whatever part of her once cared about me had died quietly months ago. The next few days were a blur of gaslighting. Every time I brought up inconsistencies, she had another excuse ready. The hotel was comped by the client. My phone's on silent because of work boundaries. The perfume? Oh, another client gift. Always something. Always rehearsed. She even started flipping it, accusing me of not being supportive enough. Of being obsessive. She said, "No wonder I can't open up to you, you're suffocating." But the universe has a funny way of confirming what you already suspect. On Wednesday, her phone buzzed while she was in the shower. Normally, it was locked tighter than Fort Knox, but she must have been distracted. I glanced, and there it was. A preview message. Same time Friday. Red heart. No name. Just a heart. I opened the message thread, hands shaking, and saw weeks of texts. Coded words, hotel mentions, inside jokes. One even said, "Your husband really bought that retreat story?" Face with tears of joy. That was it. Proof. Undeniable. When she came out of the shower, towel around her hair, she caught me holding the phone. Her eyes went wide, then narrow. "Wow. So now you're going through my messages. You're pathetic. Not a single ounce of remorse. No panic, no shame, just disgust." I saw the texts, "Sophie," I said quietly. "You're cheating. Stop lying." She smirked. "If you already know, why keep digging? What do you want me to say, that you were right? Congrats. You win." That broke something in me. Because love doesn't survive mockery. I didn't yell. I didn't cry. I just walked away. That night, I slept on the couch. The silence between us was heavier than any argument could have been. And for the first time in years, I started planning a future without her. That week felt like living with a ghost, except this ghost still left dishes in the sink and blamed me for her haunting. Sophie didn't apologize. She didn't even try to fix things. Instead, she doubled down, started staying out later, texting with her phone flipped over, dressing up for meetings that didn't exist. It was like catching her freed her from even pretending. Every time I tried to talk, she'd twist the knife a little more. "You think I'm the only one unhappy? You've been so boring lately. Maybe if you paid more attention, I wouldn't need to find it elsewhere." It was surreal, watching someone you built a life with become cruel just to justify their own guilt. But I didn't yell back. I didn't give her the satisfaction. I just observed. Quiet. Calm. Like a man already halfway out the door. Then Friday came. Her phone lit up again, "Can't wait to see you. Red Heart Room 214. Something inside me snapped. I wasn't going to let this rot keep growing in silence. I wasn't going to spend one more night wondering how far her lies went. So I followed. Again. Rain. Always rain, like the world wanted to wash away whatever hope I had left. I parked across from the same damn hotel, watched her step out, hair perfect, lips red, perfume so thick I could almost smell it through the glass. And then he arrived. Same guy. This time, he kissed her cheek right there in front of everyone. No hiding. No shame. Just two people parading their betrayal like a victory lap. My hands gripped the steering wheel. I thought about storming in, dragging her out, shouting every ounce of pain I'd bottled up. But what would that change? She'd just roll her eyes, call me dramatic, and pretend I was the villain. So instead, I took a photo. One single, damning photo, them together under that glowing sign, laughing like the world was theirs. Proof. Real proof. I drove home, printed the photo, and left it on her pillow. No note. No explanation. Just truth. That night, I didn't wait for her. I packed a bag, took my car, and drove to my brother's. When she came home, all she'd find was the picture, and silence. Sometimes you don't need to make a scene. Sometimes walking away is the loudest thing you'll ever do. I didn't sleep that night. I just sat on my brother's couch staring at the ceiling, replaying every memory, every laugh, every "I love you," every promise that clearly meant nothing to her. It's strange how betrayal makes even your happiest moments feel counterfeit, like the whole relationship was built on fog. Around 7 a.m., my phone started blowing up. Sophie, 12 missed calls. Sophie, where are you? Sophie, what is this picture? Sophie, you've lost your mind, Daniel. No apology. No guilt. Just outrage that I dared expose her. Classic Sophie. Then came the text that really summed her up. If you think this means we're over, you're being dramatic. We can talk when you calm down. Calm down. Like finding your wife in another man's arms is just a mild inconvenience. I ignored every message. By afternoon, she switched tactics. The crying calls started. Voicemails full of shaky breaths and "I made a mistake" and "it didn't mean anything." But here's the thing, it always means something. You don't fall into someone's arms by accident. You don't build a web of lies because of one bad week. Affairs aren't mistakes. They're choices. She showed up at my brother's place that evening, pounding on the door, eyes red but full of entitlement. Daniel, you're overreacting. It's not what you think. I laughed. For the first time in days, I actually laughed. Sophie, I have a photo. You're kissing him. What else am I supposed to think, that it's some charity event for homewreckers? She crossed her arms. So what, you're just going to throw away everything we've built? Over this? Over this. The audacity. No, Sophie, I said quietly. You threw it away. I'm just picking up the pieces. That shut her up for a second. Then she tried one last card, tears. Big, dramatic ones. I can change. We can fix this. But I could see it in her eyes. She wasn't sorry she hurt me. She was sorry she got caught. So I told her to leave. Not a fight, not a scene, just leave. And when the door closed behind her, I finally felt something I hadn't in months. Peace. It didn't last long, though, because the real battle wasn't with her anymore. It was with myself. The first morning without Sophie in the house felt empty, but in a way that was strangely peaceful. No perfume clouding the air, no half-truths over breakfast, no tension hiding behind forced smiles. Just quiet. Honest quiet. But then the silence started to talk. It asked the hard questions. How did I miss the signs? Why did I let her treat me like that? Why was I so afraid to see what was right in front of me? I wanted to hate her, but mostly, I hated what I'd become trying to love her, a man who doubted his instincts, who begged for scraps of affection, who confused manipulation for misunderstanding. At first, I thought I'd feel relief, but the grief came in waves. Little things triggered it, her toothbrush in the bathroom, the coffee mug she always used, the playlist we made on our honeymoon. Every reminder felt like a bruise I hadn't realized was still sore. Friends started reaching out after word got around. Turns out, everyone had noticed how distant she'd become. One buddy even admitted he'd seen her at that hotel once, but didn't know how to tell me. I don't blame him, I probably wouldn't have believed it back then. Love makes you deaf. Meanwhile, Sophie kept trying to reel me back in. Late-night texts like, "I miss us. You're being cold. You're throwing away 7 years. No apology. No ownership. Just guilt dressed as love." I didn't reply. For once, I chose silence, not the kind that hides truth, but the kind that protects it. I started going on runs again. Joined a gym. Reconnected with people I'd lost touch with because I'd spent years orbiting around her moods. Slowly, I began to feel like me again, the version she'd buried under all her lies. Still, there were nights where I'd wake up, reaching for someone who wasn't there. Nights where I'd replay every moment, wondering if there was something I could have done differently. But then I'd remember the photo. The texts. The gaslighting. And I'd remind myself, you can't fix a relationship when one person's holding a match and the other's holding ashes. This wasn't a marriage anymore. It was a memory. And I was finally ready to let it go. By the third week apart, I realized something that used to terrify me: I didn't want her back. Not even a little. For years, I'd built my world around Sophie, her schedule, her moods, her approval. I thought love meant fighting for someone, even when they weren't fighting for you. But now, standing outside the wreckage, I finally saw it clearly: I'd been fighting alone. She texted me again that Monday. "We can go to therapy. I'll delete his number. We can fix this, Daniel." But the problem wasn't the affair. It was who she became. Cold. Cruel. A liar with no remorse. Therapy doesn't fix that, honesty does. And she didn't have any left. So I made my decision. I called her that night. She answered fast, hopeful, like she thought I'd finally caved. "Daniel?" she asked, soft and cautious. "I'm filing for divorce," I said. Silence. "Then, you're joking." "I'm not. This isn't a punishment, Sophie. It's a boundary. You broke every piece of trust we had, and I'm done trying to rebuild a house you burned down." Her tone snapped cold. "So you're just walking away? After everything we've been through?" "No," I replied. "You walked away. I'm just closing the door." She hung up on me after that. No tears. No pleading. Just the click of a woman who'd finally realized she couldn't control the story anymore. And strangely, I didn't feel pain. I felt clarity. The next day, I met with a lawyer. Simple process: no kids, no shared debt, just signatures and a few photos to box away. My brother helped me pack the rest. When I held our wedding picture, I didn't feel love or anger. Just pity. For the man I used to be, the one who thought devotion could cure deception. That night, I slept deeper than I had in months. No guilt. No wondering when she'd come home. Just peace. I wasn't broken. I was free. It's been a few months now. The papers are signed, the ring's in a drawer I never open, and the house, my house now, feels lighter. Not because it's cleaner, but because the weight of lies is gone. I've had time to breathe, to think, to actually feel without being manipulated into guilt. And if there's one thing I've learned, it's this: love without respect isn't love. It's servitude dressed up as loyalty. Sophie taught me that. The hard way. I used to think betrayal was loud, slamming doors, shouted confessions, dramatic endings. But the truth? It's quiet. It seeps in slowly. In the way someone stops meeting your eyes. In how "I love you" turns into "you're overreacting." In the way lies become routine, and you learn to swallow your instincts just to keep the peace. That's what I regret the most, not losing her, but losing myself in trying to hold on to her. I've started doing things I'd stopped for her, hiking, Sunday breakfasts with friends, late-night drives just to clear my head. I even took a solo trip to the coast last week. Watched the sunrise alone, coffee in hand, and for the first time in years, I didn't feel lonely. I felt alive. Every now and then, she still tries to text. "Hope you're doing okay. Thinking of you." I don't reply. Not out of anger, but because I've learned that closure doesn't come from their apology, it comes from your acceptance. To anyone reading this who's in that place I was, doubting, hoping, explaining away the obvious, listen to your gut. People who love you don't make you question your sanity. They don't hide behind "you're paranoid" when you find the truth. If you're afraid of walking away, remember, silence can be your armor, and peace is worth more than history. As for me, I'm not bitter. I'm better. And that's the real ending.